Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves something that's going to be a little special here today though, as it is going to be a best of 3 between two of these bots. I do think these best of 3s are a way to get a kind of more in-depth look at how two bots interact with each other. And we've got two very darn good bots here for this best of 3. It's going to be DominionDog taking on Deimos in a PvT, but more importantly, bot versus bot match. We are on the map Thunderbird, the AI edition, for our first match here today. And yeah, so new maps on the Starcraft 2 ladder, new maps in the bot scene, which means we have had a couple of wacky things take place, because something as simple as changing a map, you think bots would just be plug and play, but they're not all necessarily that straightforward. So we do have an SCV scout moving out for DominionDog, while Deimos is just going for a probe scout. Well, I say just a probe scout, it's going for a probe scout in match number 1. And yeah, that SCV for DominionDog is just heading right across the map, whereas Deimos has taken more of a scenic route, looking for potential proxies and that kind of thing. Then a Reaper is on the way for DominionDog, which it sometimes builds many of, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But the strength in both of these bots, really, maybe a little bit more so DominionDog, is just how darn strong it is with its macro. Like, Deimos is a bot that like, it expands fairly quickly, has a strong economy, then attacks, but I think Deimos' strength is more so in its army control, whereas the strength of DominionDog is in its macro, just how fast it produces units. It does have very good army control too, but when I compare the two, Deimos is not a bot that has... it's not as greedy as its opponent. DominionDog does have its command center slightly delayed by that probe scout. A bit of a nuisance there. DominionDog did kill off the probe with that SCV, but then the SCV kind of took the long way home. Or, well, went about it the long way. Instead of that SCV that killed the probe resuming the command center, it pulled down a fresh one, which I guess kind of makes sense, having a full HP SCV to resume it, but does mean DominionDog loses a little bit of time on that. And time is everything when there's an Adept already crossing the map for the Protoss player. There's a single Marine to try and defend for now, and a bunker with a second Marine just popping out. So DominionDog will be fine, just a little bit scary as this Adept harassment begins. We're going to see if this Reaper can micro against the Adept, but it doesn't do the best job of that. The Adept actually delays the command center by a second. In StarCraft 2, seconds matter, and that is a very big delay on the base of DominionDog. This is not a good start for the Terran bot. These two Adepts are shading around for now. The Reaper is trying to push that Adept away, but we've yet to see another SCV get sent down here to resume this command center. I'm wondering if that's just because DominionDog is waiting for the Adepts to be cleared. Finally, another SCV does head on down there, and that will be resumed. The Reaper is shooting one of these Adepts, and may actually kill her. We shall see. It looks like it does indeed kill that Adept, so that is a nice pickoff. Second Adept is behind the base, going to get shot at by the Reaper. The Reapers can micro and actually kill Adepts. For those of you that don't know, Reapers have got 1 extra range than an Adept, which allows you to, in theory, micro a Reaper and kill an Adept. Now, Deimos has been producing Phoenix behind this. It actually lifts up a Marine, now lifts up a Marauder, and so that's potentially going to be a dead Marauder. I actually don't know whether 1 Phoenix shooting can kill a Marauder with 1 lift, and the answer to that is no. So very lucky Marauder for now, until in comes another Phoenix. That guy should have probably moved, but oh, he gets saved by the presence of a Marine, forcing the lift to be aborted. And so DominionDog keeps that Marauder alive by sacrificing a Marine. And behind this, the Terran bot getting out tanks, getting out Marines, getting Marauders, concussive shell on the way. So far surviving the harassment from Deimos, but definitely being delayed a little bit. 5 SCVs going down in total so far for a couple of Adepts and a Stalker. Nothing too bad there. Behind this, the Protoss bot does have an Immortal on the way, a Robotics Bay on the way. Seeing Colossus from Deimos would be very cool, as Colossus are incredibly good. I believe, extra incredibly good in these bot matches because they do have that increased damage. The Marines are trying to cover each other, however, the Phoenix programming of Deimos is pretty good to actually realize that it can lift up and kill those Marines without taking too much damage, and it does that, so still whittling down the army of the Terran. Behind this, though, DominionDog is just pumping out raw bio for now, Stim Pack +1 on the way. There's that extended thermal lance starting for Deimos, though, with a single Colossus coming out. That's going to be a little bit scary for DominionDog. Deimos has very good army control, and that includes how it controls Colossus, so it might be a bit tough for DominionDog to handle that. The Phoenix are still just being a nuisance. They are being kept at bay, though, by these Marines, as DominionDog does have quite a nice little Terran army out. Just a single tank for now. We'll see if more of those get added on later. Yeah, for now, though, just both these bots producing units. There is the third on the way for Deimos, though. So that's going to give it a nice bit of an economic boom. We'll see if DominionDog is going to attack potentially to try and kill Deimos, or whether it'll take a third base and just macro up like it does sometimes. DominionDog does have quite a bit of variety in the matchups. And of course, so does Deimos. I don't believe Deimos builds Colossus in every matchup, so it is cool to see that bot authors make changes for their bots depending on the matchup. It's not as simple as producing a bot that plays all the matchups the same. I mean, there definitely is some bots that do that, but the more advanced ones, they do have matchup-specific tweaks, which is very cool to see. A Raven is on the way for DominionDog. That's, I mean, it could be good, but it's also a little bit concerning because Ravens tend to die versus Phoenix when they're the only air unit in the skies, so I am concerned for the well-being of that Raven. The Phoenix for DominionDog are flying around. They get into the main base. They may find some Marines and a tank, and oh man, this Raven is about to pop out at the worst possible time. We'll see if the Marines can save it or not, and looks like they will keep it alive for now. But oh no, it's moving out. The Raven wants to go to the third base, it seems, just to prevent that base from being blocked. Fortunately, the Phoenix are not in place to delay that. DominionDog will be getting a third base on the way up, so not just going for some crazy two-base timing. The Terran bot does have up a lot of bio, though, and the bio ball is moving out for the attack. Combat shield is about 40 seconds away for the Terran force, and DominionDog is, yeah, just charging across the map. 2 siege tanks out against 1 Colossus, 3 Immortals. It's all going to come down to the micro of these bots, I feel. We'll see if the Phoenix gets some critical lifts off as well. Protoss players traditionally lift the tanks while the rest of the ground forces deal with the opponent, but that's quite a difficult thing to program. We do see DominionDog just surging forward. The line of sight blockers causing some issues amidst all this chaos. The tanks are now sieging up. The 1 Colossus does get taken care of, but DominionDog ends up losing pretty much all of its bio. More reinforcements are crossing the map. They promptly turn around, though. The Raven stays alive for now. Looks like another one did actually get hunted down. Auto turrets are going to get some shots off on some of the Phoenix, but the Phoenix stay alive. That was a pretty good trade, all things considered, for Deimos. There's another Colossus out for the Protoss bot. A 4th base is going up as well. And yeah, DominionDog really is going to be on the defensive for this one, it seems. Deimos is crossing the map now. Immortals and Stalkers against stimmed Terran bio. Marines are buffering as well as they can. That extra Colossus hasn't showed up yet, but there it is. Lots of Stalkers have perished, but so far the Immortal backbone is doing pretty darn well for itself. There's only 1 Cyclone left, and that is going to die. Meanwhile, the Phoenix are still flying around being a nuisance. DominionDog has the 3rd base up. It's not an orbital yet. But as far as army supply goes, things are not looking too hot for DominionDog. It does have a Viking on the way, another siege tank about to pop out. I think some SCVs may need to be pulled in order to make this hold. The bio does stim forward for DominionDog, picking off some Stalkers. The problem is Deimos has got a great economy behind this, getting up a 5th base it can reinforce. The 1 siege tank is going to go down. And in this match number 1, things are not looking too hot for DominionDog. I mean, the Colossus is just an absolute killer, but really just the army control of Deimos is really impressive. And it, yeah, just micros back, gets shots off at opportune times, so it's not taking as much damage as, I mean, Protoss armies usually do. So the micro definitely helped Deimos out there. The 2 Colossus are just working wonders, and it does look like that Deimos is going to take our game number 1. Then I'll go ahead and load on into the next one. And yeah, I'll just do that real quickly as we watch everything get cleaned on up. Pew pew pew, Colossus firing, and fast forward. That is going to bring us into the next match. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are into game number 2 between Deimos and DominionDog. That last one was a bit unfortunate for DominionDog. Just sometimes when you go for an attack, your opponent is also planning on going for an attack, and someone has to lose. In that case, it really is just that Deimos is incredibly good with its army control. I kind of talked about it at the end of the previous match, but if you watch Deimos during a fight, unless a unit is shooting, it is usually retreating to minimize the damage that it takes, which is something that I think really, really adds up in the fights, and we're going to see if that's going to happen again between DominionDog and Deimos. So far, we do have a probe scout moving across the map for, well, checking for proxies once again. Meanwhile, DominionDog just doing a similar build. I am curious whether DominionDog can get up to that sort of late game stage against Deimos, and whether, whether it'll be able to just pump out enough units like it does, because DominionDog really, really surges after like the 8 to 10 minute mark when it's macroing. And yeah, we'll see whether it's going to be able to do something against Deimos. I'm just kind of thinking here whether DominionDog would be better off harassing, that kind of thing, because Deimos is a bot that is a little weak to harassment, whereas in the previous match we saw both those bots, they chilled for the most part, then they kind of just built up their armies, and yeah, they just chilled, built up their armies, and then went about their business into the fight. Now, a probe scout is moving around the map for Deimos, getting chased by this SCV. We'll see if there's going to be that little delay on that command center. Of course, we saw how much that little delay actually affected things for DominionDog, with that command center being delayed for a few seconds at least, which is definitely significant. The first adept is going to be on the way for Deimos. Chrono boosting that out. A poor SCV does pop out. It's going to want to skedaddle on out of there as the Adept is shading after it. The SCV is not trying to avoid that at all. The Adept is just shading right on by the SCV, though. Unfortunately, it does not change its route there. And the Reaper is on the way for DominionDog. We'll see if there's going to be a Marine on the way behind that, or whether this command center is going to be able to get up prior to that Adept causing problems. As in comes that Adept, shading up the ramp and heading right towards that SCV that's building that command center. Where is the Reaper? The Reaper is just popping on out. So the timings for Deimos' build really is something. It does go for a gateway into Cybercore quite quickly, and that is what allows it to get this Adept across the map so soon. DominionDog, meanwhile, has just made that Reaper. It has not produced anything else, so it is going to have quite a nasty delay on its command center. No wall going to get on up here, and the Adepts are still shading around, being a nuisance. Some SCVs are pulled off the line against one of them. This Reaper is going to micro against this Adept, but SCVs are now having to be pulled off the line to fight the other one. At the same time, the Adepts are locked in the main base, which could definitely cause problems. DominionDog is doing a great job pulling off fresh SCVs to soak the shots and then get back to, well, and then retreat. It looks like this one is not in the mood of retreating. It actually takes one extra shot. Looks like the Reaper did kill off one of those Adepts. And behind this, DominionDog did get up its natural base. So a little bit of a difference in this match in that there was some chaos in the main base of DominionDog, whereas the natural got delayed in the previous match. The Reaper will finally kill off the Adept. There is a few injured SCVs, though, which is quite concerning with the Phoenix and Stalker now showing up. A Marine does pop out to try and help shoo this away. It's going to head back to the main base to heal on up. The Marine going to try and push the Stalker down the ramp. The early game pressure of Deimos has got a little bit of damage done so far, though, as 5 SCVs die once more, actually similar to the previous match now. And then just dead units too. Looks like a Phoenix doesn't get the memo to drop the Marine like a dog. Come on, drop it. And now this Marine is trying to shoo away the Phoenix, but so far it does look like a nice opening for Deimos once more. DominionDog just really takes a lot of pressure there. A bunker is on the way up for the Terran bot. Better late than never, I suppose. Meanwhile, Marines are trying to shoo the Phoenix away, but they're just getting lifted on up. Really cool programming for Deimos. I do wonder what the logic for that looks like when it comes to saying, hey, there's only 2 Marines there. I can lift one of them up and soak damage from the other. That is very cool. Meanwhile, DominionDog has fallen behind on the workers by quite a bit because of this opening. I'm not sure if it paused worker production at all during that, but Deimos is now on 47 probes. We'll see if it's going to get up that 3rd base. I think it is. There it is. And a Robo on the way too, so doing a similar strategy. And we'll just have to see if things are going to be any better for DominionDog in this match. And 2 Stalkers try and come up the ramp. The bunker does hold on. Meanwhile, Phoenix come on in once more, being a nuisance, lifting up more Marines. 5 Marines have gone down, 8 SCVs in total. Really strong harassment from Deimos with a commanding lead, although the Protoss bot does get a little bit supply blocked, actually. With pylons just finishing up now. Missing a little bit of production, but that's really my only real criticism right now. Bunker and Marauders on the high ground are able to kill those Stalkers that poked up the ramp. Just showing us how maps affect things with just base positioning and ramps and whatnot. And that part of the reason why we do have quite a bit of variety in these bot games. DominionDog, though, is struggling quite a bit. It's only on 38 workers. It's actually floating way too much gas right now, being on 1,000 gas and no minerals. As, yeah, that's a little bit painful for the Terran bot. Maybe it would benefit from some dynamic adjustment. The SCVs, I think, may also be struggling, it seems, with the speed mining on Abyssal Reef. Not the first time we've seen a bot have issues with that, but a bit of an issue in this match. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, by the time these videos go up, I'm a little ahead on my videos, which I'm proud to say, tooting my own horn. Who knows, maybe the bot authors have fixed that bug with the maps, because that is something that may stand out a little bit. So we'll see. It could be that they're injured too, or are trying to make position to be repaired, but I think it is just the unique mineral field positioning messing with the speed mining. Is Deimos having similar issues? No, it is not. So anyway, we do have the army of Deimos going to be crossing the map. DominionDog doesn't feel ready to take such a fight, but this could actually really play into the favor of the Terran bot, as it is going to have a siege tank out. It's got the bunker and the turret. That's going to make a defense, well, a fight, actually much, much better for DominionDog, as long as it doesn't move out, as long as it just sits tight. Phoenix are being a nuisance. They are lifting up some more of these Marines. Combat Shield hasn't even started yet for DominionDog, showing us that this start was a little bit worse than the other one. Deimos, though, isn't electing to go for the attack now. It's just sitting back and chilling, getting up a 3rd Colossus. And yeah, things are looking not the best for DominionDog. Deimos is at 131 supply with 89 for DominionDog, pardon me. I definitely did make the semi-conscious decision to cast 2 bots that start with these, which might not have been the smartest move in hindsight. Anyway, multiple Stalkers for Deimos across the map. They don't have Blink just yet, but they may do soon. Deimos is taking the long way around, heading around, not going up the ramp. A bit of a string bean. But this Protoss force is getting ready to move on. There is the 1 siege tank. There's the bunker too. We'll see how good DominionDog's leashing is, whether it's just going to hold on to this position or not, because that tank and the bunker being sieged up before the fight could be very important for the success of DominionDog. It needs to hold on. It needs to take a good fight. Then maybe it can get up a 3rd base. However, DominionDog does seem to have hit some threshold that it's actually deciding to move on out, and that is not the best. But look at this army movement of Deimos. Just units are getting close, but as soon as, like, Deimos is just indefinitely backing up, DominionDog then all of a sudden regrets its decision. It's kind of turning and fighting, but it is not taking the best fight. Deimos is kind of just cleaning house on this one. DominionDog's trying to get up a 3rd base. It just salvages its bunker. The siege tank is now sieging on up, but DominionDog having a bit of a hard time here with Deimos, as I believe this one is going to be a 2-0 between these two fairly similar games. It's just Deimos got quite the lead from early on, which is just not something that DominionDog could really overcome. That adept harassment just caused too many problems. And DominionDog and Deimos are both bots that if they sort of trip, they stumble, and they like harassment really messes with both of them. And yeah, so that's why it was kind of cool to see how these two clash. Deimos is an absolute killer though. The army control was incredible. It works really well with Protoss units, being able to pull back and then sort of minimize the damage while maximizing the firing. And if you want to see more Deimos versus DominionDog, let me know in the comments down below, as who knows, maybe these bots have more variety if they choose different builds, that kind of thing. I do believe these two generally open up with the same build pretty much every time though, so that's why I did look at a few replays, not actually watch them, but check out the replay length. Most of the matches between DominionDog and Deimos are these shorter matches, which makes sense because they're both bots that do try and go for quicker wins, and it just happens that Deimos is the bot that comes out ahead of this. Great programming by both the authors though. And big thanks to everyone for tuning in. I don't even believe I did the spiel for this one. Click that like button, leave a comment down below saying more bots if you want to see more bots. Join the Discord, which is linked down below. I think I might have already said that. Leave a comment. Thanks to everyone that supports the channel. I'll see you guys next time.